up, my name is Jess and welcome to my channel. Have a look at this. Today I'm going to be doing for you a magical, October-y, Halloweeny reads recommendation. So initially I was going to do a recommendation video of my favourite scary books before I realised that I don't actually like that many scary books or scary films or just being scared in general. But then I saw a video over on Reagan's channel, The Peruse Project, where she talked about her favourite magical reads, and I thought I could do like a shmush of like magical books and scary books and just make some sort of October recommendations video. Because I don't know about you, but when it gets to autumn I always crave a really good sort of magical, whimsical, slightly creepy novel. I've got 6 books. Let's just get on with the recommendation, shall we? The first book I have here to recommend for you is A Great and Terrible Beauty by Libba Bray. This is set in Victorian times and it's the story of Gemma Doyle, who used to live in India with her parents and her brother, but after the death of her mother is moved to England to an English boarding school for girls. Gemma has always had these really strange visions of the future, and it's not until she arrives at the boarding school when she discovers that she can travel to this sort of shadowy, dreamlike universe. Along with a few of the other girls from her boarding school, they form this sort of like coven-like thing to explore this dream world, all whilst avoiding being pursued by a young man called Kartik, who has been sent to stop Gemma from doing something that she'll regret. I know that sounds like a really cryptic description, but I really think this is one of those books that you should go into not knowing anything, because it just makes it so much more surreal. The tone of this book is absolutely pitch perfect. It's so creepy, and when it's blended with that sort of Victorian society life, it just gives off this mood that is just perfect for Halloween. It's very unusual, it's very magical, and it's got some great characters. It really explores things like the restrictions of women in Victorian society in a really unique and interesting way. This is the first book in a trilogy. I haven't picked up the other 2 installments yet, but I definitely want to after this first one. It's just a really great read if you're looking for sort of a creepy twist on historical fiction. The next book I have to recommend for you is a bit more whimsical, and it is The Strange and Beautiful Sorrows of Ava Lavender. So this book opens with a letter from our narrator, Ava Lavender, as she tells us that she was born with wings. Ava was really curious to understand why she was born this way, why she has wings, and the rest of the novel is essentially her just sort of chronicling the research she did into her grandmother's life and then her mother's life to work out why she was born this way. This book has such a whimsical feel to it. It's told sort of like a tale in a way. It feels like an old wives' tale. I love multi-generational stories. I love stories about family, and it was just so interesting to see how she weaved the pasts of all the women in Ava's family together in such a unique and magical way. This novel is really, really sad, but I do think it's still quite a good one for October because it's got such a magical kind of transcendent feel to it. I would really recommend this book. I think it's a magical read. I think Leslie Walton is a brilliant writer, and I definitely would like to reread this soon, possibly in October. The next book I have to recommend for you is a bit of an obvious one, but I'm going to recommend it anyway, and it is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone by J.K. Rowling. Witches and Wizards is just the perfect thing to read about for Halloween, and what better witch and wizard book is there to pick up than Harry Potter? The added bonus of Harry Potter is it's like this ultimate comfort read. You go back to the pages and you recognise the characters, unless you haven't read it before, in which case you should go and read it. I absolutely love the whimsical, magical, mysterious feel of this book series, and if you haven't picked them up already, get out of that rock that you've been living under and pick them up, because not only is it an amazing series, it is also an absolutely brilliant time to read it. The Halloween season is perfect for this sort of book, so I would definitely recommend picking this up, or maybe even rereading it if you've already picked this up. The 4th recommendation I have for you is Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare, which is the first book in her Infernal Devices trilogy, which is the prequel series to her The Mortal Instruments series. This novel is set in Victorian London, and it's the story of Tessa Gray, who travels from New York to London to stay with her brother Nate. And when she arrives at the docks, it's not Nate that meets her there, it's the Dark Sisters, a pair of warlock sisters that unlock this power inside of Tessa that she never even knew she had. bad. And of course this book is set in the Shadowhunter world that we're introduced to in the Mortal Instruments. For those of you who don't know, the Shadowhunters are like this race of people that fight demons that plague the earth and protect the humans, or mundanes as they call them, from any evil or danger. This trilogy is one of my favourites. My favourites, because I just feel like Cassandra Clare does such a great job with character and with mood. This book has a really distinct steampunk feel to it, and to me I think that steampunk is a really good genre to read in Halloween. It's got that right mix of sort of creepy and magical that's just really satisfying this time of year. Cassandra Clare's books are also absolutely hilarious, which is just an added bonus, and for an extra added bonus, this book has Will Herondale in it. So what more do you need, really? The next book I have to recommend for you is Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. The Daughter of Smoke and Bone is the story of Karu, who is an art student living in Prague. She is an apprentice, I guess you could call it, to a chimera called Brimstone, who owns a shop where he sells teeth in exchange for wishes. And if that hypnosis does not make you want to pick up this book, I don't know what else will. Laini Taylor's writing style is so magical in itself. She just really knows how to weave such an intricate and intriguing story. The mood of this book is very Halloween-like. It's very unusual. It's got magic. It's so good. It's got such an unusual premise, and Laini Taylor executes it in such a brilliant way that it's impossible not to love. And the final book I have to recommend for you here is The Diviners by Libba Bray. The Diviners. I don't know how you pronounce words. Diviners is set in 1920s New York, and it is the story of Evie O'Neill, who travels to New York to spend some time with her uncle Will after a scandal back where she comes from. In New York, a girl is murdered and a symbol of an occult is left on her skin, and Evie realises that there's some sort of supernatural serial killer on the loose. Now this book is a scary read, definitely. It's about a supernatural serial killer, so you can't really get more frightening than that. This is a hefty book. It's got a lot of pages, it's got small print, but it managed to keep me hooked for the entire thing, which was really impressive. Evie's voice is very entertaining, she's very outgoing, she's very outspoken, and she uses a lot of slang from the 1920s period. This book is an absolute roller coaster, and I would really recommend it as a scary Halloween read because it definitely kept me on my toes for the entire thing, and I just loved every second of it. So those were all of my magical read recommendations. Pick them up if you feel like it, because I would recommend all of them. And leave in the comments what sort of books you like to read around Halloween, because I'm definitely looking for some magical recommendations right now, and I'd be really interested to hear what you said. Thank you for watching this video. Goodbye.